अष्टावक्र उवाच मुक्तिमिच्छसि चेत्तात विषयान् विषवत्यज क्षमार्जवदया तोषं सत्यं पीयूषवद्भज न पृथ्वी न जलं नाग्निर्न वायुर्द्योर्न वा भवान् येषां साक्षिणमात्मानं चिद्रूपं विद्धि मुक्तये यदि देहं पृथक्कृत्य चिति विश्राम्य तिष्ठति अधुनैव सुखी शान्तो बन्धमुक्तो भविष्यति। Ashtavakra start speaking. Because the question was proper and asked in the proper manner at the right time, and he was ripe to receive the answer. Janak wants freedom now. What is that restricts him? Why does he want the freedom? He is living like anybody else. But not everyone seems to want freedom. But why this man is wanting freedom? What is that makes you want freedom? Have you ever thought about it? Someone who is sleeping, whether he is in the prison or in the palace, it doesn't matter. For one who is sleeping, who is asleep, bondage, he doesn't even feel the bondage. Here Janaka has started feeling the bondage. That means he is already up and awake. Isn't it? What is the freedom? Freedom from the patterns in life. One can go through the pattern for infinite times without being aware of it. That's what all the animals do. They're not aware. They go on doing the same thing over and over. They never get bored. The cows here never get bored. They can go on chewing the same stuff every day. Frogs never get bored. They do over and over the same thing. That's not the case with you. If you have the same porridge every day, you get bored. Oh, same cream of wheat today, bored. A dog or a cow will never feel that way, because it never loses charm or joy in it. It goes on doing the same thing again and again. This is a blessing, or you take it as a curse or disguise, whatever, on human beings, that they get bored doing the same thing. But what happens? Though you get bored, you can't get out of it. You are caught in that circle. This is bondage. No one wants freedom from joy, but what everyone wants is freedom from suffering. And what is the suffering? The only suffering is rotating in the pattern, having been caught up in a pattern and unable to come out of it. What are the things that restricts you, restricts your freedom, that imposes a pattern in you? Just think about it. What is it? What is it that creates problem to you? You are bothered about what? What restricts your freedom? The habit patterns. They don't give any joy, but they only give misery. Like you have a habit of drinking coffee in the morning. The coffee is not giving you any big joy or creating an ecstasy in you. But if you don't drink coffee, you get headache and you feel not good, and the whole day is topsy-turvy. Now this is a bondage. You can't be without coffee, but the coffee is not giving any great joy or ecstasy to you. This is habit, this is patterns. Patterns do not bestow on you any blessings or any joy. It doesn't bring heaven on you, but lack of it creates an itching sensation. You know, it's like something is itching and one scratches it, and the more one scratches it, the more itching happens. And then the itching gives some sort of joy, some sort of relief. Can't call it joy, some relief. But that relief makes it even worse. It creates more itching, more scratching, more itching, more scratching. Ashtavakra says, Mukti michasi chet tata. My dear, if you really desire for liberation, for freedom, now the very desire for freedom comes to only at certain degree of awakeness. One is tired about it. No? People who are alcoholics, they are so tired of alcohol. It's not making them any better. But without that, they feel they are bound. Right? Mukti michasi chet tata. It's very fortune if this very desire has arisen in us. Know that you are eligible. You have been the chosen one. If even a slightest desire in you to be free has arisen in you, you should pat on your back. You are very lucky one. Billions of lives in this planet do not have this blessing. They live, exist, they don't even live, one exists and die and dissolve. They are not bored. Even if they are bored, they're bored about something very small. Very little change can just make them back very comfortable. So blessed are those who get bored. Isn't it? Among so many billions of lives on this planet, it's very rare, very precious to have human birth. It's only one human among so many billions and billions of creatures. This is very valuable. And among the human birth, it's very valuable and very precious if you get bored of your habits, of your routines and your patterns, and you want to be free. You are very, very fortunate. And suppose even this is there in people, they want to get rid of sorrow, they want to get out of their frustration, but to get an opportunity, a company of Ashtavakra is even difficult. The presence of Ashtavakra, one who has crossed the frontier of bondage, is even difficult. Mukti michchasi chet tata vishayan vishavatyaja. What binds you? The five senses. Your taste, number one. Tomorrow, if there is no salt in your food, and you will see the face of so many people. At lunchtime, it is really an entertainment. Even now, some people like spicy, some people don't like spicy food. And when one eats, it's really a fun to watch everybody's face. Small thing about taste. It binds you. You are used to a definite type of food, and if it is not that, That is enough to upset you. Push the buttons. The taste has bound you. Craving for the taste. Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. Don't eat ice cream. In the dream you get, oh, I am eating ice cream. I know many of you have dreamt here about ice cream in your dreams. Or pizza. Pizza dreams. What is happening in the ashram? In the different rooms and kutis, people are dreaming about pizza. It is very strange, very funny, but interesting. See? Same thing with musicians. They are so much used to music. They put the tape day and night, music. Now they are addicted to that music. I remember there was one gentleman who is so fond of Carnatic music. He will drive the car and he will sing, do alap. Come to anybody's home, entering the gate, he would start singing. People will go like this, raise their eyebrows. Morning, evening, from the early morning start till night. 11 o'clock the radio should say All India Radio, Jai Hind. Even that they would forget, put the radio on and go to sleep. Many people do this, isn't it? In the middle of the night, 2, 3 o'clock, suddenly wake up, oh, radio is on, it makes gur bur 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 sound. Whether filmy music or Carnatic music, Hindustani music, some music, so much into the music. That music is not elevating them to an ecstasy, giving them joy, but a sort of addiction into the music. Same thing with the smell. You put on perfumes. And a person who puts on perfume does not smell the perfume after a while, but others can smell them. People put on some balms, eucalyptus and this. They don't feel the smell for longer time, just few minutes. But for others, they come and sit and you are doing meditation, pranayam, observing the breath. Where is the bro? This man is putting on all sorts of things in his body. Smelling. Same is sense of touch. People go on with it. Even when people have become old, they go on looking into all the sex books and they have become very old. But the mind is obsessed with it. Either you are far, you get so much steeped into sex, or one is so much against sex. In either case, the mind is obsessed with it. People who are totally against it always keep looking whether someone is talking to someone, some boy is talking to some girl, immediately they go on whispering. This is what they do. Someone may be sitting there, immediately their mind starts working. They must be doing something. Let them do whatever they do. Why are you bothered? Because your mind is obsessed with it. There was a course of sadhus, mahatmas, once in Rishikesh, and there was also a course of householders, both in the same place. And many of the sadhus would complain, some boy is walking with some girl and it frustrates them, irritates them. I said, why are you bothered if that boy is walking with that girl? It's up to them. Why you are spoiling your sadhana? You are not a policeman here. You do a policeman's job. Because you are so against it, your mind is working again in the same direction. It is interesting, see. This is what happens. All the priests, the fathers, nuns, sadhu mahatmas, many of these people caught up because there is no, they think they are running away from it, but they is caught up in it. Mukti michasi chetata vishayan vishavatyaja. I have heard even in Gandhiji's ashram it used to happen, they used to have neem chutney and they would make good food and mix the neem chutney with all the food and eat it. Gandhi was very much against people eating tasty foods. This is, somebody came from England to his ashram. He said, out of courtesy, Englishman has the courtesy. When he comes to a place, he doesn't say it is bad. He says, yes, it's good. So it seems he said this neem chutney is good. Oh, this is good. This green stuff is good. Out of all the stuff, only that he could appreciate. And Gandhi became so happy because this is the only man who said this chutney is good. So he called the cook and asked him to serve 3-4 servings of neem chutney. Same boat. Either you are for or you are against something. You have missed the boat. You cannot be liberated against something which you are against it. If you are against something, know that you have no freedom from it. If you are against someone, you have no freedom from them. If you find fault in someone and you are against, your mind is set against them, know that you are stuck with them, glued with them, super glue. So when somebody is wrong, don't take their wrong. Don't be against wrong. This is a revolutionary idea. I am not advocating wrong, but I am saying don't be wrong against wrong. You see this? Don't be against wrong. Mukti michasi chetata vishayan vishavatyaja. But what is your nature? Your nature is moved towards something which is life-supporting. Nature of life is to evolve more and more and more. So whatever is not conducive to evolution is poison. All the objects of your senses, whichever is pulling you back, is like poison. Whichever is creating a boredom in you and giving a momentary sense of something, this, drop them like poison. Kshama arjava daya tosham satyam piyusha vadbhaja. Now it is easy to tell you, okay, you drop this, stop doing this. But how? Again one starts asking, but how? So he says, Kshama, forgiveness. When a wrong happens through you and you are aware that you have erred, what is most difficult for you, what is the hardest thing for you, is to forgive yourself. You are unable to excuse yourself. This thing gets into your nerves and bothers you and bothers you. The wrong has not done so much, but the wrong's unforgiveness of oneself bothers you forever. Kshama. The first thing that is like a nectar for you is forgiveness. Forgive yourself. There was something, there was some vasana, some impressions were there, and it was responsible for some action, some activity. It did some good to somebody, it made someone else to grow. It was all conducive in some way. So whatever has happened in the past, do not brood over it. Forgive yourself. If you can't forgive yourself, you are tied yourself to the past. There is no freedom. There is no liberation. You have to free yourself from the past. And how can you do if you can't forgive? Forgiving yourself. Kshama. Arjava, the second thing. 5. He gives 5 principles. 5 directions. Second is Arjava, sincerity. There are people who can go on forgiving themselves, but they are not sincere. So they can be where they are, go on continuing the same thing. Forget the past, forget the past. Yes, I did something wrong. Okay, today also I am preparing myself to do something wrong. Tomorrow also something I'll continue. There is no sincerity. Sincerity is a quality. Anything you do, fully aware, and sincerity is there. Everybody has sincerity in you. There is nobody insincere. We all have sincerity in us. It only has to be kindled. Kindle the sincerity in you. Before he said, drop whatever that is binding to you. Don't be so attached to the five expression of the senses. But next, how it is possible? Number one, by forgiving yourself, which everybody does. Everyone forgives oneself. Kindle that. That wick is there. You have to kindle it. It becomes more bigger. That itself is enough, sufficient enough to relieve you. Arjava, sincerity. Daya, compassion. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't be hard on anyone else. Mahatma Gandhi was preaching non-violence, but he was so hard on himself. What is the difference between this body and that body? This is little closer and that is little farther away, that is all. I say, I do not punish that body, but I can punish this body, which is so close, near. It amounts the same. I don't torture you, but I torture myself. Many people do that. Sometimes children do that. They know the parents are very to capture parents' attention, they go on hitting themselves. Don't they do? Sometimes they lie flat on the ground, go hit their head on the ground, and parents will, no, don't do it. This is a trick. You can't punish others. You can't do anything with others. Go on punishing yourself. Daya. This is a basic thing. Gandhi was a wonderful person, very beautiful soul. But see, from his whole life, the man who talked about non-violence all his life, in the end he had a violent end. This is not what is enunciated. If you are non-violent, totally, violence ceases to exist even in your presence. Maturity of compassion. Compassion towards everyone, towards all beings. If you are not compassionate, you are bound to get angry. Today Gandhiji is coming again and again. Mahatma Gandhi was compassionate to people, but he was uncompassionate to his own wife. His own wife, he talked about freedom, but did not give any freedom to that poor lady. He said, you must do this work, you must do the way I want things to happen. It's not saying it's right, wrong, but see the principle of daya. The difference between daya and ahimsa. Ahimsa, non-violence, is a negative term and it is always related with the others, your actions around you, others. It does not include you, as it is practiced and understood. But daya is your very nature. Compassion is a positive nature that is in every one of you. Daya. And what follows compassion is contentment, Tosha. A frustrated person cannot be compassionate. Can he be? Someone who is so frustrated, can he be compassionate? He cannot be compassionate towards himself or towards others. Daya Tosham. Contentment. Today's life we have lived, today be happy. And tomorrow's life we begin with next sun. And the next day is next sun. Suppose you have 10 days to live in the planet, what is that you want to do? Just sit and think. Priority, what is it? Are you worried about your relationship? 10 days you are going to go away, kick the bucket. Are you worried about your properties? Are you worried about your friends and foes? Are you worried about what you are going to eat, your preferences of eating? What is your preference? 10 days of your life. What is that you are going to do? We keep living as though we live forever. And we hang on to things as though they will be there forever. We forget the sense of time and sense of life, the flow of life. Isn't it? Isn't that our only problem? You're so concerned about your relationship. Oh, that lady didn't smile at me. And this boy went with somebody else. What is it you are worried about? Where will they be? People are burned down with this sense of relationship. People are burned down with the things about friends, wasting precious life and time. Isn't it? That friend of mine behaved badly with me and it hurts me. What is that hurts you? Your foolishness is hurting you? Let them behave the way they want. No, you want everybody to go on your railway platform line. You have set a railway tracks for people and you want everybody to walk on those tracks. The moment they give a surprise to you, you go, hi, hi, hi. Hi, Toba, hi. Oh, I never wanted this thing in my life. How can I get over this? What is it you want to get over it? Just wake up and look. Neither that person is going to be there longer, nor you are going to be there any longer. You both will be under this mud in no time. You can't even be recognized, this body. And if you continue to live that, nobody even will take your name, nobody will even know that you existed on this planet. And even if they do, it has no meaning for you anyway. Does it have any meaning for you? Where are you to begin with? Why make so much knot about, oh, that boy, this girl and this person did that person did this. They did not smile at me, they smiled at me, they said good words and they did this. Where is your freedom? We carry on such stupid things with us wherever we go. A footrest can remove your mud from your feet, but if you carry your mud on your head, what could remove it? Contentment. People have behaved well with you, have been friendly with you. Thank them for what they have done to you. Don't ride on their neck. Contentment. The whole world needs this understanding. The entire world is burning out for nothing. And in this place we have come. See how focused we are here. How are we utilizing our time? Every moment put yourself into knowledge. Every moment, 2-3 hours of seva. Everybody immersed in seva. Otherwise, what is it? You go and see, oh, very colorful dresses. Okay, colorful dress you brought and put it on. So what? You don't even look at your own dress. What you look is always others' dress. Someone else is having a nice colorful dress, you can look at them and enjoy. We want to put all on us. And we forget how many nice, beautiful clothes we have. We look for what we do not have. No contentment. I'm nothing against you wearing beautiful dresses. In fact, I like it, everybody wearing nice dresses. It looks very nice, very festive and colorful. I am all for it. But I am much more than that. I would like you to be contented about that in your mind, in your heart. Don't have a feverishness, craving for it. Daya, Tosha, Satyam, Piyusha, Vatbhaja. The fifth one, he said, truth. These 5 principles. What is truth? Truth is what is right now. This is truth. What is the truth? We are not going to be here for all the time. At least this body is not going to be here for all the time. This is the truth. It's solid truth. And this body is always changing. Another truth, solid truth. Whatever. Liquid truth. This body is changing, always changing. Second truth. The whole world is changing. People are changing. Their minds are changing. Everything is changing. Everything is changing. Do we ever think about that? Everything is changing. This truth does not cross our mind at all. Some little negative thing here and there, go on, grab it. No, this is not changing. See, this person is not changing. See, or this thing in me is not changing. You hold on to something, even that is changing. Look, wake up and see. Everything is changing. This truth, even this one principle truth can save you. All is changing. It makes you so firm, strong, solid inside you. Nothing on planet can shake you. Nothing whatsoever can shake you. You get established. The truth, simple truth. You don't have to read books. You don't have to do any big sadhana. These 5 principles are existing in your life. What are they? Kshama, forgiveness. Do you have to practice forgiveness? When are you going to forgive? After 5 years of practicing every day? 10 minutes each day? Forgiveness. When to be done? Tomorrow? Day after? Next lifetime? Or 4 lifetimes you have to take in order to forgive? Forgiveness. Right now. Arjava. All these principles, compassion. When you will be compassionate? After some time? People become compassionate after a person dies. Then they become, wonderful person died. Post-mortem, these awards are given, Post-mortem award, Bharat Ratna. He has gone, Bharat Ratna. What is Bharat Ratna? They are giving awards to him. And our compassion is not always at the present, it is post-mortem. When are you going to be contented? We have an idea, I'll be contented once I have this, what I don't have now. Person who doesn't have a job, he says, once I get a job, I'll be contented. Person who is not married, he thinks, once I get married, I'll be content. I will get the right type of partner. Dreams going on in the mind. I'll get the right ideal boy or girl. Then I'll be content. One who is married, is he contented? I should have a child, then I'll be contented. One who has a child, is he contented? People have 10 children, still are they contented? There was a king in India, it's called Dhritarashtra. He had 100 kids. The blind king. 100 kids. They caused a big war in the whole country. No content. Where is the contentment? Contentment, very essential in life. Moment we think contentment, we think it is anti-creativity. This is a wrong understanding. I tell you, in fact, contentment is the mother of creativity. It appears as though contentment means, lazy, I don't want to do anything. It's not a state of lethargy. Contentment is not a state of lethargy. Contentment is not a state of inaction. The moment you talk about contentment, people immediately, the response that comes into the mind is, then how can I progress if I am contented with what I have? You see people who have nothing and who are not contented, have they become creative? Then all the famine hit countries should have become very creative. Has it happened? Bangladesh, Ethiopia, not to name, nothing enough to name, many places are there. Have they all become topmost? Because people are most discontented. most frustrated. Has creativity ever come out of frustration? Impossible. Contentment. And it is in you. You get contented at least for a few moments here and there. There is that element of contentment in you. Otherwise you cannot live. In between two frustrations, just peep and see there is a bit of contentment. But for that you wouldn't have been existing in this world. Attend to that, you will see your contentment has increased. Maybe frustrations come like a line and disappears for some time. It will begin like that. Few days you will feel frustrated just for a few moments, and then you will feel alright. And then frustration comes once a while, just a few minutes, and then it disappears. And then maybe you feel frustrated for 1 second, and you can feel the whole sensation of frustration, and you laugh at it and say, oh, it's an illusion trying to take over me. And at the very moment the frustration vanishes from you. I'm not saying your life will be all airy fairy, whatever. Always with big smiles and you will never face frustration in life. I'm not saying that. Contentment as much as its frustration is part of your life. Tell somebody and they don't do it again and again, you get frustrated. It's natural. Frustration is brother of boredom. When there is boredom, there will be frustration also. They are twins. But if they dominate your life, that is misery. And if they just come as a fleeting moment and touches you and passes away. If they are like salt in your life, it's okay. It adds taste. But if the salt is taken for a meal, you had trouble. Piyushavat bhaja. See these principles, these 5, take them as the nectar of your life. Catch hold of them. Share them like nectar. Consider them as the essence of your life, ambrosia of your life. Nourish them, contentment, truth, compassion, sincerity, and forgiveness. This is the very first verse that Ashtavakra has said. We'll go further tomorrow. Mangalam Jai Gurudev.